In today's video I'll show you how to prune garden hydrangeas, mophead hydrangeas, and how to do it properly. So you can get the most blooms, reinvigorate them, so the new growth is pushing from the soil and your flowers are nice and full come summer. Best time to do so is late March, very beginning of April, and because there is no risk of frost, so this is why we want to do it at this time of the year. Okay, before we start pruning our hydrangeas, make sure you got really sharp tools. So you can't do more damage to your plant than good if you don't have sharp tools, because you can basically damage your plant. It will be more prone for, you know, any diseases. So we want to avoid that. Make sure you really sharp your tools and then start pruning. Either hydrangeas, roses, any plants. So this is very, very important. Your secateurs has to be really sharp. Before we start, just to mention that hydrangeas, when planting, needs special care and right position to thrive. So in my garden here, this is the morning, early morning, and those hydrangeas, as you can see in here, all the way there, the hydrangeas got some morning sun. They've got they are against the fence to give them extra support, and then later on in the day the sun is moving to this side of the garden, so there is a shade. They are in a shade, and then again in the evening time they get a bit more sunshine there. So especially hydrangeas, they need a good position against the fence possibly, and they don't like too much sun. They love water, so you don't want them to be positioned in the open sun for 24 hours. So make sure you plant them correctly first. Okay, in my garden I've got the same type of hydrangeas as you can see here in a row. We've got the same type of hydrangeas, different color. So this one in here, this one is obviously a pink hydrangeas, which I just basically planted in March, so probably 2 weeks ago. And this one is white one, so the only difference is the same type, it's just different color. And this one has been planted last summer in June, and obviously it needs pruning now, and I'll show you how to do it properly. As you can see in here, we've got some flower which is completely dry out, and it will be easy to see on a young hydrangeas how to prune it correctly, because basically you can see through it. So nice and easy video how to prune your hydrangeas. Okay, before we start pruning our hydrangeas, you need to bear in mind that it does need time. You need to take your time to prune it correctly. Why? Because by the mistake you can prune out basically part of your hydrangeas which you shouldn't, and you can't simply take it back. So you need to take your time. If you don't have time, come back later when you do, when you're not in a hurry, and you can do it correctly. So this is really important, because hydrangeas, especially garden ones, are not very forgiving plants, and as I said, once you make the mistake you can fix it that easily, and your plant, once you cut out something you shouldn't, it might look a mess. So you want to avoid that. Okay, first thing what we have to do when trying to prune your hydrangeas is clean the area around your hydrangeas. So all the area around in here, I would say from here to here, we're gonna clear it completely from the dead leaves. While we're doing this, basically to see clearly what needs pruning. It will help us to prune the hydrangeas for once, but what we're looking for is basically a brand new healthy grow like this, coming out straight from the ground. The one which coming out straight from the ground basically will grow and flower next summer. So we're not gonna flower this summer, we're gonna flower next summer, the one which coming from the ground. But we don't want to break them, we don't want to destroy them, so be very, very careful and look clearly. So we're gonna clear it first, this area, and then look closely if you've got new grow coming out from the ground, because as I said, you have to be very careful not to break it, otherwise your plant will look awful next summer. You don't want to lose those nice juicy new grow straight from the ground. Okay, now we have cleared the area around hydrangeas, especially to see those new grow which will be coming out straight from the ground. Now we can start pruning. This one is, as I mentioned before, brand new one summer hydrangeas, which was basically flowering just one summer, so there's not much grow coming out of it. But if you've got hydrangeas which is 2 or 3 or 4 year old, you will definitely see some grow straight from the ground. Okay, now we're gonna start with pruning our hydrangeas. If you are brand new or you haven't done it many times, the best thing to do is, first step is always clean your area around the hydrangeas to look for any new grow. This is very important because that new grow coming straight from the ground will give you flowers next summer, so you don't want to damage, you don't want to break that. That's very, very important. Next thing, we're gonna cut what is obvious. So our flowers, this is hydrangeas, obviously it was flowering last summer and we've got dead flowers in here. So what we're gonna do, very obvious thing, if you're a beginner, you want to cut out first your flowers, your dead flowers. So we're gonna cut only flowers up to this area here. So obviously they don't now come back to life, are they? So that's something completely dead, and we 100% know that those flowers are dead. So first thing what we're gonna do, even if you are, you know, new to pruning your hydrangeas, it's very safe to say that you can cut out completely flowers head because they're dead. So we're gonna do that now. We've got a little bucket in here, we're gonna throw all the dead stuff straight away in here. You don't want to leave any cut stuff or dead leaves around your hydrangeas. You want nice clean area for it to grow healthy. So we're gonna cut them out first, dead flowers, and put them in dispose them basically in the garden. Okay, we're gonna cut the flowers head first. Again, I just want to remind you that you do have to have sharp tools, otherwise you're gonna do more damage to your plant than goods, and it will be more prone to diseases and everything. So you're gonna damage the plant instead of helping it. So make sure you've got sharp tools. Okay, this is our hydrangeas after we have cut out dead flowers. Now we're left with few parts which are completely dry and dead. So obviously this is pretty obvious that on this part there's nothing, there's no new grow. Inside this is completely empty and dead, probably damaged by frost as well. So there will be few of them which are damaged by frost, and you want to get rid of them because no new grow is coming. There's no sign of new grow, as you can see here. There's nothing, absolutely nothing. So this has to be cut out. But how do we cut it? We cut it to the part where there's a new grow. For example, this one. In here we've got a dead part, but in here you can see the new grow, nice and juicy leaves there and there coming off. So what we have to do, cut it all the way, cut all the dead part up to here until new grow. So that's what we're gonna do at this part. That's a good example of the one which, that's why you need to take your time, because this one, for example, is completely different than this one. This one got a new grow, so we're gonna cut it up to here and it has new juicy grow. It's gonna flower, it's gonna be beautiful. This one, completely different story. This one is completely dead all the way, so you have to follow it all the way through to the very end, to the soil, to the what's called a trunk. Inside hydrangeas we've got what's called a trunk. So what you want to do, if there's something completely dead, you want to cut it out completely all the way to the bottom, to the very bottom, because this is completely dead. It needs to come out completely. There will be no new growth on this part, and you don't want to keep it because you want a flow inside. You've got lots of juicy parts, very healthy hydrangeas. This one, as I told you, is only 1 year old, very juicy, very healthy. They're gonna have amazing flowers and leaves, but we don't want to keep we want to keep a flow inside hydrangeas. This is very important. You can't just cut out the tips, so dead flowers, and leave the rest, because your hydrangeas will be, you know, it's not gonna thrive as it should. You need to cut out and make sure inside your hydrangeas you've got nice flow where all the rain and sunshine coming through to give your plant all the necessary nutritions. So what we need to do is create that flow by cutting everything dead all the way to the ground. This is especially important. When you are a beginner, what you have to do is basically take your time. When you are pro and doing this year after year, basically you will take less time and you know what you're doing exactly. So you know that anything dead, you want to cut it all the way to the ground. You want to take your time to follow it through and see what's happened there, because let's say on that one we've got growing here, so you don't want to be cutting just because it's sticking out dead. You don't want to cut it all the way down. It has new growth. Garden hydrangeas, they will flower on a last year grow. So this is last year what has grown from last year, and we're gonna flower this year on it, as you can see in here. So you want to cut that, only that part, leave the rest. But this one definitely gonna be cutting all the way down. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna look closely, take our time. With garden hydrangeas, we want to take our time and assess every single stem. Every single one has to be assessed and cut out. So first we're gonna cut out all the dead, disease and crossing stems. So that's our first step, and then we're gonna basically check if anything needs cutting out all the way to the ground and up till the first set of leaves. Once you do that, so what I'm gonna do that now, just that. So I'm gonna basically assess all the dead ones, cut them out completely and leave the rest, and see where we are at that point. Okay, with the hydrangeas, what you have to do is cut out all the damaged, diseased and obviously dry, dead, and one which frost killed stems, and one which are crossing. Can you see that one? This one is crossing that one. So what we have to do is cut that one out. Even though it's healthy, it will probably have a flower on top of it, to be honest, because there's no other healthy stems here, but it's crossing that one, so we have to cut it out. So it's nice, and there's no trunk creating here. It's nice and flowy, and all basically sunshine and rain can go through and penetrate whole plant to make it nice and healthy and give it all the nutrition it can give it. So crossing is a big no-no. We're gonna cut it out. Last thing which I forgot to mention about hydrangeas, when we are pruning them, this one is already fully pruned, but when we're pruning them, we need to cut the dead stem straight. So when we're cutting or pruning them, they have to be straight, so it's straight cut like this, not like roses when we're cutting it on the sideways. With the pruning hydrangeas, always straight cut. Okay, our hydrangeas are not has been pruned. As you can see, it's nice juicy buds everywhere, leaves healthy. It's a really healthy plant. As I said, this one, it's only 1 summer old, but it's beautiful, nice green juicy ones, and we've got already, we can see where the flowers will be coming out, like here and there. So it looks really nice, and it will look really incredible come summer. So we've got on whole side we've got pink and whites coming through. So now we're just gonna feed it, and it will be ready for summer.